encapsulates a little bit what we talked about is the act of growing up and why it's significant. And I guess could you kind of start off of what do you mean? I mean, we kind of all know what growing up means, but like, what does it really mean? If you
Hmm
want
I think about this a lot, guys. So I think of all the things that my mom and dad taught me when I was very young and literally growing up in size. And it would be things like turn the lights off when you leave the house, pick up after yourself. Things that indicate conscientiousness, right? When you are growing up and you become an adult, you don't have to just get told to do those things that are just obvious, right? It's kind of weird to me that at work, there's a lot of people who leave the light on in a place that they're not in, right? That we've
to.
got a little kitchen inlet at the office space, and people just leave the light on in there all day, and I'm like, you're not in there, why are you leaving the light on? That it's just like a small lack of conscientiousness, whatever you want to call it, awareness, whatever. And it's emblematic of our entire world culture. I would say in particular the American culture, where we kind of take resources
Yeah.
and things for granted, right? And we have this immature, childlike entitlement for resources, and for
Mm.
comforts, and for the luxuries that we've definitely taken for granted. It's just mind-boggling the things that we have compared to even 100 years ago, let alone 50 years ago or even 5 years ago with technology, right? It's just we're moving at a breakneck speed, and we're kind of losing our ability to grow with our technology in a healthy way.
That's for sure.
Definitely.
TikTok is just a very, very easy, low-hanging fruit example to point to and say, oh, that look at all these teenage kids like dancing and looking sexy and all these things that are just like not okay for their future, whatever you want to describe it as. Even if that's true or not true, it doesn't even matter. It's just very emblematic. We're just moving way too fast. So how do we grow up in a way where we're not outpacing ourselves? Well, we got to do things like learn about our personality types. We need to learn about other people's personality types. We need to learn about our impact on the planet. We need to learn about basically the things that don't get taught on a regular basis, and that's just what are the things that have an impact. We like to ignore our negative impacts first and foremost, and we don't have a clear understanding of what our positive impacts can and should be. So I don't know. Growing up with regards to the global structures, looks like slowing down production, changing production over from an industrialized, mechanized, fossil fuelized,
Mm.
production way of doing things to more of like the harmonized, live with the balance of the natural surroundings and work within those resource caps, right? So that's like literally growing up in a physical sense so
Right.
that we can grow up in our relationship with the planet Earth. Because right now our relationship with planet Earth is kind of like a young, dumb, fast and quick, dirty relationship where we're not treating each other well, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not taking the chance to fall in love with planet Earth and actually, treat this planet like a lover, where that lover in turn takes care of us. And, that's what we're called to do in Scripture. Genesis chapter 3, no, chapter 2, verses, just like the first couple bits of Genesis, talk about being a good steward of the earth, and that gets lost on us. And to me, that's growing up. I just think of my dad. He would always take me out into the world wherever we would go, and we see a little bit of trash, and he'd be like, "Oh, go grab that. Gotta keep it beautiful, right? If there is trash around Omaha, keep Omaha beautiful, right?" It just was stuck in my brain that you're worse off ignoring it than you are better for it for picking up some trash, if that makes sense.
It does. They told me to go pick up that quarter.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Your dad cared about the environment. My grandpa wanted some money. So
No, gosh, that's funny.
hey, the corner there, go pick that fucker up.
That's funny. So,
Nick, you said something that really like made me think about something. When you talk about impact and how that relates to conscientiousness, and like one of the things that I hate to sound like old man speaking to young people, but even us people at our age are guilty of this. When with technology and social media and the internet, it is so easy to do something and not think about the impact, right? Like, for example, typing a very negative comment about somebody or
mm,
being so super negative. There's a huge difference between being super negative to someone's face and typing a comment because I can't see the immediate impact of
right.
writing. And that also connects because it's a mindset too, is where, and it goes back to this idea of you've been speaking of becoming self-aware, becoming self-conscientious, understanding impact that you have because a small thing like that, like a piece of trash, not throwing it in a recycling bin, like if we're not able to recognize that because of this short twitch brain memory we have now, where everything doesn't have a big measure of impact because it's so easy not to. We're so incentivized not to like, I mean, it's so easy to write a negative comment and talk shit. And that mentality kind of gets transferred over. And that's why I appreciate you bringing up this idea of conscientiousness because we've kind of seen a little reawakening, I think, with it, but it's not taught in schools, right? There isn't like, if there needs to be like a meditation class, there needs to be
A
like these
philosophy
kids,
class, even.
absolutely,
Gotta get these
absolutely.
kids thinking. Yeah.
And I think the word impact they used is perfect because it can make us think about maybe there is an impact of what I'm doing as opposed to always just doing, doing, doing. And
Well,
we don't.
there always will be, and that's something that I love helping people realize is your impact can always improve, and that's what we think of when we say, that man has impact, right? It usually is a good, positive impact. But think about this: no matter what you're doing in life, it has a ripple effect,
Right?
right? So you always have an impact. It's just you got to be in alignment with it. This is what I mean by growing up and being conscientious, and all these things are so closely related because your intentions, when you live conscientiously, match your actions, which then match your impact. When you are
Mm-hmm.
unconscious, when you're unaware and you're fumbling through life and you have these intentions, right? But then you act out of your ego with anger when you're trying to help somebody. This is, I just want to help you, right? Your actions don't match your intentions, and so your impact is way off and causes more harm than it helps. And
True.
so that's why this whole consciousness thing is so powerful, is it allows us to be in greater congruence and alignment with ourselves and
Mm.
with in my opinion, the spirit of God. But that's just me. So